To create a wonderful design piece, we need to understand the rules that makes it work. So, first of all, what we have to understand is graphic design. And you guys supposed to know graphic design is art. And knowing art means knowing the principles of art, which are balance, hierarchy, emphasis, varieties, rhythm, and unity. So this class is a class to lay the this class is the class mainly to lay the foundation on graphic design. Knowing anything in this life, you have to know the foundation, know the basics, and know how it works. What make so many people they call themselves graphic designers? Why? Because they know how to manipulate the tools, whether it's in CorelDRAW, whether it's in Photoshop, whether it's in Pixolab. But they are not that creative. Why? They don't apply the principles of graphic design. You see so many work looking disorganized, looking unkept. You see inside one work, you see over 20 different fonts, over 30 images not placed one place. You see the heading placed at the top right, the body placed at the center left. All kinds of disorganization, and so many so many responsible designs out there. So this class is to tell to lay the foundation on graphic design. So what's the what is the first topic on discussion? The first topic here is balance. So what's balance? According to the definition written here, balance is the arrangement of visual elements to create a sense of stability and equilibrium. So giving an example here, so looking at this image here, what is the balance laid here? We say types of balance. First balance is symmetric balance. Looking at this balance, what is symmetric balance? First, let's look at the definition. This is using identical element on either side on a center axis. Looking at this image now, this image is a full definition of symmetric balance, which means that the work is equally divided, that one side is not at weight by the other side. Equal distribution of image, proportion, unity, and so on. Great emphasis. The work lead you step by step throughout the whole information they are passing through here. Once the hierarchy catches your attention, it now leads you towards every particular details there with an equal distribution of image, font, and whatever you can name them. So a symmetric balance is placing images at giving equal size, the equal distribution at both sides. So what's the second in line here, which is asymmetric? So this asymmetric means this is the opposite of symmetric design balance, sorry. So asymmetric, what is the definition? Different elements on either side of a center axis balanced by visual weight. So this is an example, which means an asymmetric balance is a balance which means that one particular side is outweighed by the other side, which is going contrary to symmetric, but you are still giving out your creative innovation. This kind of works are mainly used in journals, newspapers, and so on, but everything is still maintained. Your alignment is there, your unity is there, and your hierarchy is there. but with a different perspective of a balance. So what's the third one here? A radical balance. These elements are arranged around a center point like the spoke of a wheel. This is a good example of that. So let's make this to be visible enough. No, let's zoom in. Looking at this now, this is a good example of a radical balance, which is all the elements are arranged around the center point. Look at the center point here. This is the hierarchy. So every given information is, no, just don't mind that the images are blur, but what I'm trying to portray here is that radical balance. Every information is placed around the particular information is distributing. This may be, maybe this for example now, an image may be here. They can put in maybe a image of a celebrity. They now put in his loving, his kind, all those stuff, but all the things are passing is pointing towards here, which is the hierarchy. So understanding what balance is, and another thing you have to understand in balance, not only in giving equal distribution of works, your work, not minding your distribution, have to be in a good posture. Don't be a kind of designer that you be placing your, maybe you placing your work at the edges of your workspace. That is not advisable. So if you know that you're kind of a designer that does that, please stop that. Don't be, whether it's image, whether it's font, whether it's your pattern, whatever it is. You can also work with guidelines. Like now, I put in a guideline here. Just, you can just drag out your guideline from here and put it. So to avoid placing, maybe putting a write up at the bottom here, maybe if it's a printable work, maybe due to when they are printing it, that place may cut off, or that particular place gets affected. So if you're balancing your work, like as good is a good example now, no matter the work is an symmetric balance, it's still cent it's still center aligned, which means that nothing is touching the edge. Even though they want to cut this work, it will not affect the message is passing. So let's move on. So what's the next? Unity. So what is unity? Say unity is the harmony produced by all of the elements in a design piece, and how these elements create a relationship as organically as possible. So a good example is this image now. Looking at this image now, this particular design, all this work plays is a good role of unity. Looking at this pencil, back to school bag, all these are working hand to hand to portray a particular perspective, which means that this fly is talking about resumption of school or that. So all these work are working hand in hand in harmony, both the shape, both the color, both the background, both every pattern is deviating to a particular is creating a relationship. This might be the cousin or the brother or whatever, but everything is working. So be able to, as a graphic designer, you are, or you are going to be able to utilize all this, be able to utilize your unity. Don't be in a kind of, you see a kind of design, your hierarchy is portraying another thing, your image is not showing something similar with what you are trying to talk about. Maybe you're showing you're designing a burial poster, you put a pencil image in that burial poster. Is sef the someone looking at it will get confused. So be able to make the image and whatever you write up to play a harmonious role in every design you do, both this and so on. So as we have gotten that, let's move to the next one, which is rhythm. What is rhythm? So according to the definition here, this is the repetition of similar elements such as color, shape, texture to create a sense of movement of energy, such as repetition, alternation and progression. So this image now plays a good role in rhythm. We move from the bigger image here to the one lesser, to this, and finally this. So this is gradually changing the size of your image to create a sense of movement. So this is rhythm, and also this image plays a good role. It says it can be size, it can be color, but have to be a repetition or a progression. Whether it's your image, whether it's your color, whether it's your size, but have to create a progressive aspect of that. So understanding rhythm is also an essential rule in graphic design. So what is next? Next in line here is contrast. So what is contrast? According to the definition here, contrast is the use of different visual elements such as color, shape, size to create a visual interest and draw attention. This is a good example. The contrast plays a good role in attracting your viewers. Like example now, this image was given yellow. This particular image behind it was also given a similar color but more dim, and the background. So contrast played a good role in this graphic design. Understand? And everything is readable. Both what is written over here, and it draws attention to your contrast. Can be your hierarchy, it can be your emphasis, but it shall be able to draw your viewers attention to what he or she, what you have to present. And there is one particular mistake so many graphic designer does, is what? Using a dark color on a dark background. I see so many work, and as I say, also irritates my eye. Avoid something like this. First of all, your background is a dark color, so on no occasion should you give your font a dark color. Get what I say? If that your background is a light color, on no occasion should you give your font a light color, because this will be dragging space. Be able to use your contrast. It will be dragging space with your background or whatever you're doing. You see someone that choose a blue background for his design and using green to write on it. What are you trying to? Is it that you know that everything, no matter, everything has its principle, and what makes you an exceptional graphic designer is your ability to utilize this principle. Avoid something like this now. For example, now this is a poster. Maybe them write root Nena Okoro. You see, for example now, let's give this something. You see something like this now, they'll come here, they'll give, and not that they give their font. You see crazy font that you don't know where, that they're not supposed to be using that kind of design. Let me say they're giving this one this font size. You come over here, give this and that careless font. Come here, Like, you be looking at the design, be saying like, this kind of designer. And not only that o, no, come here, give this red, give this one another color, give this one another color. You just have to ask whether this kind of designer, whether what inspired him or her. Don't do such kind of design. Maintain your contrast. This cannot be attractive to someone. If that you are going with red, you go with red throughout. Sorry, go with red throughout. Any color you go with that throughout. And avoid such. If you are, maybe you want to change your text, look for fonts that have so many text options. Like now we have Sui. Swedes have a different, you can choose this, you can still come here, choose another Swiss, choose another Swiss, bold, you can come here, choose another one, bold italic. This one now looks more creative than choosing so many fonts. So be able to utilize this concept called contrast, and this will guide you a long way in choosing your color. For example now, the image you're working on, maybe the man or the woman is putting on blue. Find something, the background shall be, they find the background that will be similar in color. So that kind of, look at the kind of design now is yellow. This is, it will pop out that particular image, but it have to be lighter, or the image blue have to be light. Just each of any one shall be light than each other, so they will not be dragging space. So what you have to understand by contrast is using different visual elements to create a visual interest and draw attention. So knowing that, we have to move on. So sorry for the delay. So what is next here? What is next in line? Let's delete this one. What is next in line? Hierarchy. So what is hierarchy? Hierarchy refers to the arrangement of elements to create a clear order of importance. This help guide viewers' attention through the composition, ensuring they focus on the most important element first. So this definition have clearly emphasized what hierarchy means. So that's why I brought this image here. Looking at this image here, what is the hierarchy? This is the lady over here. Without saying much, looking at the lady and her position and the kind of environment she is, you know that this is particularly a party design, or a pool, or a motel. But the hierarchy here draws attention to one particular, those people that love this kind of things. It draws their attention. So once this hierarchy draws their attention, they can now go through the emphasis laid there on, and the proportion, bit by bit. First of all, the hierarchy attracts them. So what the hierarchy can be: size, it can be color, it can be position, it can be typography. What is typography? This is a good example of typography. This kind of hierarchy are used mainly in magazines and newspaper, where you can see in the newspaper, you see a bold title. Maybe for example now, you see in newspaper, you say accident that claimed a life of a whole family. So that with a big font size. So that exceptional title first will draw the reader's attention. Say if you not even want to scan through the maybe the rest written in lesser font, but that particular one captioned with that big typography, it will draw your attention. From there, you now go to the lesser one to the main body. So you use by typography. So this the hierarchy is this. And also in this particular aspect now, what is the hierarchy is this? This thing now first of all draws your attention to read what is the content there and know what you're working on. So your hierarchy can be image, it can be typography, it can be color, it can be position of the particular place you kept it. So be able to utilize this. That's why you see so many works they stick to your mind and you just wonder why did this just at a glance on the work that stick to your mind. Why? Because the hierarchy was so bold that it caught your attention. So be able to utilize hierarchy. So what is next in line? Alignment. So what is alignment? Alignment is the principle of arranging visual elements such as text, image and shapes in a way to create a clear and cohesive composition. It also involves positioning elements along a common axis such as horizontal, vertical, create a sense of order and balance. This image here are a good example of this. We're talking about alignment. So many graphic designers avoid this. You see a work, the headline will be the headline will be aligned left, body will be aligned um, um, west, right centered. You see, if you are working on a work, you choose your alignment, whether you want to align your typography left and align your picture right, whether you want to align your writings right, you align your picture center. Just choose a particular perspective, a particular way you want to align. Like this particular designer, the graphic designer chose to align his walls on the left, this now center aligned. If you look at everything over here now, everything here, the write-ups are aligned at the center. Just even the hierarchy, this captures your attention. Looking at this now, you know that this is a action movie without even looking at any much thing. Looking at this, only this particular image, you know this is an action movie. This one right aligned, I believe this one aligned his work over here right, and everything maintained from base, from here down, sorry, up over here, maintained right. So your ability to use alignment is one of it. Like, I'm using myself as an example, or a professional graphic designer. I don't Let me just, a professional graphic designer, if that your work is eye catching, sure, the work attract him or her. After the attraction, next where the graphic designer is going to is your alignment. You compliment your work, your work is good, but what next drags him is your alignment. He will first of all look at the way you align your work to know whether your head is correct, to know, once you see that your alignment is correct, you know, yes, you know what you are doing. So ability to use your alignment is a crucial role in graphic design. So what is next? Variety. Sorry for that. So what is variety? Say variety refers to the use of different visual elements to create a visual interest and engagement. These are several ways to create variety. You use by contrast, you use by color, which a good example of this, you use by shape, you use by texture. Using by contrast is to make the elements stand out from each other. Using by color is using a color to create a visual interest. Looking at this now, the graphic designer was able to use varieties just of color in between the hierarchy here. Looking at now, green is here, green is here, green is here, red is here. So he was able to utilize varieties of color, but to the work here, no matter how it is, the work is simple, creative, and has a high level of hierarchy. So he was able to use the varieties of colors to make a visual interest and engagement. This colors now is the first thing that attracts you. The way the color is being utilized drags you to looking into details of what is in the design. So variety is the ability of a graphic designer to use different visual elements to create a visual interest and engagement. So and you'll be the graphic designer is able to utilize this, choosing from your color, your pattern, your image, but to get a visual interest and engagement. So what is last in line here? Emphasis. So this emphasis is one of how will I say, the most essential thing you have to know as a graphic designer. This refers to the creation of focal point in a composition, drawing the viewer's attention in a specific element of message. Looking at this here, we are going to treat the focal point one after the other. If you look at this image, looking at this mouse and looking at this icon of Photoshop, this is the focal point, and this you have, without even looking at this hierarchy here, you know that this is a graphic design flyer. So this thing act as a focal point. So this emphasis, looking at this image now, so if you're a graphic designer lover, if you look at this image, it draws your attention. From there, as you start to read the details, proportion, you go from A to Z. So emphasis is the ability of you as a graphic designer to create, whether you use your hierarchy, use your typography, but ability to drag attention towards your work, creating a focal point. Looking at this now, this second image now, authentic manhood. Once you look at this authentic manhood, looking at the background, you know that this is, you have created a focal point for this particular work. Looking at this work now, without you looking at anything again, if you look at this lady and her posture, you know that this is a studio design. Looking at this, you know that without even looking at anything, you know that it's blur. Looking at this man putting on Santa wears, you know that this is a Christmas design. And without even looking at this background on this typography and hierarchy, crossover service have explained total of what you are trying to portray here. So once you look at this crossover service, the next thing is going to your date and location. So your ability, emphasis, the ability to create a focal point of composition, drawing the viewer's attention. So as a graphic designer, you have to utilize this tool. This is a tool that helps you grab attention. So once you grab that attention, your viewer will be forced to go through any details there. And so I'm so happy that you guys are tuned to this channel. Not minding so many people out there are saying paying 25,000 for this paper, so we make this a free class. Why? Is to educate you guys, because of you don't know where you learn tomorrow, whether it's the skill you acquired from somewhere or where that will bring food to your table. So we here is an opportunity. It's a great opportunity to you. Don't be in a haste to leave, or you find you're looking for where to make fast money. First of all, grow that your skill. You don't know whether that, maybe that company, that work you are going to, the skill you will add to that will bring more money. And one thing again I want to emphasize on is, there are so many people out there, you see a flyer, 1 day intensive class to learn graphic design, 1 week intensive class. You start asking yourself, how you that is doing that class, do you use 1 day intensive class to reach that particular place you are? So not trying to tell you that be wise. I'm not trying to spoil someone's business, but use your sense, use your head to think and reason. Don't be a fool to play that kind of thing. I know how long I've been into this design work, and I'm learning self. I'm even i'm even knowing that some of the things I can do here cannot understand. You learn something new. How you will tell me that you use one day intensive class to be a pro, as in what? That they will give you the god to. Even them them that is pro, they use one day learn am. So thank you for listening to this class, and well done.